This is Including You, the new series from Lead at Any Level. Including You features stories from chief diversity officers and other executives who are creating inclusive cultures in their organizations. Our goal is to show what's working in companies just like yours, to give you the tools you need to keep pushing for progress in your own workplace. We want to create belonging and opportunity for everyone, including you. And now here's your host, Amy C. Waninger.
Welcome back to the Including You podcast. I'm your host, Amy C. Waninger, the Inclusion Catalyst. My guest today is Athena Villarreal. She's the Manager, Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging of ERGs at Navy Federal Credit Union, whose vision is to be the most preferred and trusted financial institution serving the military and their families. Navy Federal Credit Union employs 24,000 people globally and supports 13 million members. Athena, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited about your new milestone. You just passed 13 million members worldwide. How was that for the company?
We're very excited about that too. Our members are our mission, and we all celebrated internally through our intranet, through regional office, moments that matter, celebrations in person. So we're very excited to continue to serve our members with the best that we have.
That is phenomenal. Now, your target market for members is very specialized. And I think I know the answer to this question because I've been doing this a while, but I want to hear from you. Why is inclusion so important to a financial institution that serves military members and their families?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. And it is something that we take very seriously while also making sure that we include the experience of our employees as well as the people who we serve as part of the culture at Navy Federal. Inclusion is a way that we cultivate a sense of belonging for our employees at Navy Federal. We are more than just our badge numbers. We are all humans that are connected to each other through our various experiences, and the military has a very special way of serving our country. So we want to serve our military the best of our abilities. And when we have a space for employees to be their best, they'll bring their best for our members.
I was reading something the other day that said that your customer experience will never surpass your employee experience. And it sounds like that's really the driving factor behind some of the work that you're doing around DEIB. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right. Our employee experience is very much a part of the well-being of our employee culture at Navy Federal. And we know that when we travel to different offices, or when we meet someone digitally, that our colleague has our back and we serve each other the same way that we would serve our members. I think that it's a really special culture at Navy Federal too, and the way that we bring our DIMB practices and programs and initiatives really helps to enhance that and deepen that sense of belonging in every day and everything that we do.
So let's talk a little bit about what you're doing to advance inclusion at Navy Federal. What are some of the initiatives or programs that you're doing that you feel are really moving the needle for the culture there?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this question because this is what I get to wake up every day and do. Our Diversity, Inclusion, Belonging team, so DIMB team, is really focused on serving our employees in ways that we celebrate observances and teach each other about what's happening in the external environment for things like celebrating the month of the military child and employee storytelling, and really hearing from our employees what's important for them. So we share that back with the broader employee population to celebrate with each other. And we have training and development opportunities that have a DIMB focus. So building new muscles and greater skill sets for leading with empathy and inclusive conversations. And we also have one that I really like that is building allyship and how can we best support each other while we're at work. The one that I'm particularly excited about that connects with all of these initiatives is our Employee Resource Group program, which I get to lead. And I'm really excited about this one because it's essentially creating an internal sense of community for specific groups of affiliated folks. So we have 2 employee resource groups at the moment, and Military Community Network is our first, and we also launched Diverse Abilities Network. And so far, the employees who have participated in this, and also our broader employee base, has really shared their excitement and their engagement by participating in our events and getting involved in conversations and meeting new people. So the employee resource group space, I think, has been really celebratory while also teaching each other about something new and how to be better colleagues for one another.
So you mentioned celebrations, and you're celebrating right now at the time of the release of this episode, you're celebrating Veterans Day. Can you talk a little bit about what Veterans Day 2023 looks like in and around Navy Federal Credit Union?
Veterans Day is such a celebratory time for us as we acknowledge and thank our members and our employees who served, and also our military spouses, our military brats internally, all of those who are affiliated with military service. In particular, MILCOM, our Military Community Network ERG, is also celebrating. We're also celebrating our 1-year anniversary, our ERG birthday, if you will. So we have a lot planned for cake and camaraderie, and it's also the same time frame that we launched last year is also Marine Corps birthday. So we get to have a huge celebration to not only acknowledge and recognize the veterans and military families in our organization as well as externally, but we also have a big milestone for our ERG program and the success that we've really had in this space so organically and so quickly, and it's just another way that we get to show appreciation for employees in the employee resource group area.
Thank you for sharing that. There's a lot of stuff that happens in the fall, and I think sometimes these celebrations can be overlooked. People are like ready to slide into the end of the year. They're thinking about, did I meet my goals, and when am I taking off for, make sure I don't lose any of my time off and all of that kind of stuff. But celebrating Veterans Day and congratulations on your 1 year of ERGs, that's a big deal. And it's exciting because the community that you're building not only has something external to celebrate that ties them together, but has something internal that really draws them together into more of a tight-knit community.
That's right. And we've had celebrations throughout 2023 on each service birthday, where we heard a little bit more about the employees in the particular branches of service. For example, when we served cake for Army birthday or for Coast Guard birthday, we were able to teach our employees more broadly about military acumen and what our armed forces do for us on a day-to-day. So it ties nicely to our business, as well as building that camaraderie with the folks who experience that as part of their own livelihood. So that continuous celebration and learning more about our members is something that we get excited about all year round.
That's phenomenal. What kinds of impact are you seeing internally on employee morale, and what are you measuring around this that you can tell that it's making a difference? And then as a follow-up question to that, are you seeing greater engagement from your members as a result of the work that you're doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we're able to really get instant feedback and instant conversation with our employee resource group because we have a digital community that folks can share their voices and their feedback and all of the ideas and resources within a space that the ERG team has access to on a regular basis. And we're noticing that even just being able to reach out to colleagues who they normally wouldn't have access to on a day-to-day basis, because we're in a space that reaches all employees no matter where we work, that has been meaningful. We've also been able to hear employee stories more readily shared, in that when somebody comments or posts, then others feel compelled to share their story or to support someone in their experience if they have a son or daughter that is being deployed or something. So we're able to really hone in on that belonging element of the ERG, and seeing how Military Community Network shows up, as I say affectionately, in the wild, when we're not doing curated promotions of the program and there's a plug from a C leader in their particular forum, or there's an employee who raises their hand, say, oh yes, I'm part of that ERG and we're having this event, you should come. Instances like that, in addition to the traditional measurements of engagement, event attendance and clicks on a particular content piece, those together really help to get a bigger picture of the employee feedback in real time.
I think it's interesting. You're the first person, I believe, on the show to bring up like online engagement, internal online engagement as a metric, but that makes sense to me. That would be something that would be meaningful and measurable, and that you could see improvement in over time as you're getting more people involved. So it's a really interesting metric that I hope others are considering as well, because it should be pretty simple to mine that data from your internal systems, but it really does show beyond sometimes membership in ERGs. And I use that in quotes and air quotes. Membership can be finicky because what determines who's a member of an ERG? Is it constant, people constantly showing up? Is it that they opted into an email thread or whatever? But seeing those engagement numbers has to be very, I would think, very gratifying from the perspective of someone who is continuing in the work beyond the launch and seeing the growth over time.
It is something that is also fun to see the friendly competition during a service birthday. If someone has a joke about Army or someone has a joke about Marine Corps, that culture from the military is actually really captured within the digital space. And it's another way to enhance that sense of connection and belonging with a colleague from the San Diego office to our Vienna office. So I absolutely love the digital aspect as a way to stay connected.
And it's important. We talk a lot about remote work now post-COVID, but teams have been remote for a very long time. Companies have been remote and scattered, and you're talking about 24,000 employees globally. These people don't see each other in the hallway every day, but they're building relationships even across continents.
That's right. Yeah. And a way that we're able to really elevate that remote and segmented employee population is by having events that really emphasize the moments that matter, having what we call a hybrid meeting, having a way that folks who are in a branch location who are not able to make it to a regional office in person can still participate in a digital breakout session while there's a breakout session happening in the room. So they're still getting that connection, though it may be in a different way. But yes, I think having that, knowing a colleague in a different office helps provide that extra, having the tentacles spread further and having a deeper sense of community in any physical community that they're in as well.
Yeah, it's one thing to feel connected to the organization, but it's another thing to feel connected to something bigger than yourself or bigger than what. And I would imagine that kind of connection really ties people not just to the mission of the members and serving the member community, but also the impact that the members are having on the world. And it's like the larger community beyond the community and the meaning behind that mission that I think would particularly resonate with folks when they're able to connect in these ways.
Yeah, and I think it's a wonderful way, it's a wonderful statement, because also what's cool about seeing that real-time engagement and interaction within the digital space, if someone is in a branch location and they need a quick phone a friend from the ERG about the way one would need to interact with a member, then there's a huge support, a wave of support for that particular employee to serve the member in the best way, our members in the best way together. So we're all in this together, and we know that the advice that is being shared will reach a member, and so that impact feels more personalized as well.
And especially as you're growing, you're adding employees, you want to maintain that culture and you want to give them these places, these just-in-time touch points around the way we do things here and how we serve. And so it seems to me like you're doing a lot of things right in terms of culture building. I'm curious, Athena, what's next in DEIB at Navy Federal?
We're excited about the continued growth and conversation within these ERGs. We are also building our diverse abilities network to mimic a lot of the same sort of behaviors and connection points and education that our military community network is feeling. we are really honing in on the sustainability of the program and making sure that we're listening to employees to meet them where they are, that we can continue to do learn, grow, and tweak things that may not be working or enhance things that are working and then try new things along the way. So that's one aspect. The other that I think is super exciting is that we're working on a couple of exciting events for our employees that touch on topics like allyship and empowerment for employees so that they can also learn how DIMB is relevant for their day-to-day. If they're part of the ERGs, that's great. And if they're not, that's also great. But these events will be for all employees to continue to learn about why internal communities is really important for overall employee experience and employee well-being.
Athena, I want to thank you so much for joining me today, for sharing about all of the exciting things that you're celebrating, events and internal milestones that you're celebrating at Navy Federal Credit Union. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I really loved this conversation and chatting with you, and I'm really excited about our work at Navy Federal and working to serve our members and each other every day. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
If you've enjoyed this episode, follow Lead at Any Level on LinkedIn and YouTube. Then join us for Including You video simulcast every Thursday at noon Eastern. Including You can also be enjoyed each week as part of the Living Corporate audio podcast series, available on all major podcast platforms. Learn more at living-corporate.com. Including You is brought to you in part by Lead at Any Level, a boutique training and consulting firm improving employee engagement and retention for companies that promote from within. Lead at Any Level. Leaders can be anywhere and should be everywhere. Learn more at leadatanylevel.com. Lead at Any Level and its logo are registered trademarks of Lead at Any Level LLC. The views and opinions of guests on our show do not necessarily reflect the positions of Lead at Any Level, Living Corporate, or the sponsors of Including You.
That's it for this week's edition of Including You. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to leave us a comment or a review to let us know what you thought. Be sure to join me next week when my guest will be Malika Serrano,